landing gear at this point. And we'll take our 050 by 8-inch carbon, and again we'll slide the heat shrink tubing over the carbon. And then we have these little guys here that are our landing skids. They could also probably be used for axles if you decide to gotta have wheels on it. You can go ahead and use this and maybe change the bend angle in it a little bit so that you can get a wheel on it. You can change the bend angle later. But these skids on indoor surfaces seem to work really good. And very light. And just a little bit of CA on the carbon. Put the long end in between the carbon and the wire, the long end of the wire between the carbon. And have about a 1/4 inch or so hanging over the edge. Go ahead and shrink it up. About like so. Do that to both of them. Alright, got both of them done. Remember this little guy from earlier we cut off? That's our little measuring stick. And we want to have the landing gear essentially right at the leading edge of the wing, coming out of the leading edge of the wing. Basically right in the mid span of that servo. And this guy placed on the cross brace gives you the perfect height off of the bottom. You want to lay it on there nice, right near the servo, right near the leading edge of the wing, have it up, and then just poke right through that hole, and there's your mark. That's your height you want to have it. Come through the hole, come back toward the leading edge of the wing. You want the skid to go, you want the skid to aim backwards, like so. You want to have it attached to the front nose piece, about in that area. A little drop of the foam safe there. Poke it right near the edge. I'm double checking the wire skid that it's pointing straight back. Hit it with some accelerator. Again, make sure it's 90 degrees off of the fuselage, going straight down. You don't want it leaning back or leaning forward at all. And then with the other one, either just in front or just behind the one you just put in there, go ahead and poke the next one through. Go to the same spot on the outside. Line it up and push it in there just a little bit, put a mark on the front nose piece. Everything looks good and lined up. Pull it back out, put a little drop of CA here. Push it back in. Make sure the wire skid's pointing straight back. Hit it with the accelerator. Now I want to sight down the fuselage again and make sure that this guy's straight. Make sure that these landing gears where you poke it through is not push the fuselage over one way or another. And this one, in case it did a little bit, we'll push it straight. Okay, looks good. And then we'll put a drop right here on each side. One drop there, squirt it. Flip it over, a little drop there. Then you got the little last piece, the tail skid. sharp edge on it. And poke it into the back here. If you put it into the rudder, you'll get a little bit better steering out of it, but I find it doesn't need to be actually in the rudder to get plenty good of steering. Little foam safe. Plus it takes off load from the hinge if you don't have it in the rudder. This is why I don't put it in the rudder. I don't want any load on that servo. Could strip the servo gears. Oh, here's the basic landing gear. Right, we just about have this TBird finished up. I think the best thing to do now would be to install the electronic gear. And we'll start with the motor and controller. And I've got this already wired up, all rigged up with a prop on it. I've got a Hacker A1015S with a GWS 7 by 3.5 X5 speed control Hacker, and I'll be using a Thunder Power 352 cell battery, the new V2 batteries. Great little battery. And we'll start off by gluing the motor to the front of the airplane, and just like we had the wires coming off the left hand side, the aileron servo wire coming off the left hand side of the airplane, we will need to mount the motor with the speed control wires coming out toward the left hand side of the airplane. And because there's a little nut on the back of the motor, we'll have to cut a little clearance notch in the corner of the airplane in the nose. So it's just a couple quick little cuts here, and just make some clearance for that prop nut. Like so. And we'll double check it for clearance, make sure it's not rubbing anywhere. Deep in it, it's deep enough and big enough all the way around. Looks good. I like to hold the airplane vertical. Make sure everything's going to line up good. Let me tilt this camera just a bit. Should be able to get a better view there. Hold the airplane vertical. Looks good. Wires are coming out the right side. Take my foam safe CA and just run a bead up the full length here across all four corners. Get my accelerator ready. And wires going in the right direction. Top one side. Good. Squirt it with a little accelerator on one side here. Okay. That one to the accelerator, with that one, and then we'll squirt the top. Excellent. Motor's on there. And it doesn't hurt to put a little blender and tape across the front, but I'm not going to do that for this moment. It doesn't hurt to do that. Now what we need to do is mount the electronic speed control, and it needs to be mounted fairly far forward so the lead can reach the battery, but we still want to be able to get all the leads to make the receiver. So we kind of got to plan that out from here. And we're going to have to get this elevator